What's up, y'all? I'm out here at the range, as you can see, on a beautiful sunny day. Temps right around in the low mid 70s. I've been wanting a little breeze to pick up, and I finally got one, so it's absolutely perfect out here now. I've gotten a couple of good tests done so far, and I'm gonna end things out with what should be an interesting 45 ACP test. So the jelly contraption's ready to roll for one more test with a couple of chronos and 2 blocks of gel. Now again, I have done a couple of tests. I kept them on the back side for the most part. I'll leave some links up above. I do have one little track up here in this one, but I think I can manage to put my rounds up under that in case they go through. As you can see, I've got my heavy clothing barrier as always. It's got the layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And for this one here, we're checking out a couple of 45 ACP rounds from Hornady. Now, I've tested both of these in the past. The critical duty, it's been quite a while, way back on my old setup. Probably never through a short barrel that I can remember. And the same with the critical defense. I think it's been a while on that also. But what I really want to do on this one is see what the difference is in performance from a short barrel between this critical defense and the critical duty. Now, I know the critical duty, I'm sure we all know, is more of a full size. As a matter of fact, the ballistics and all are gotten from a 5-inch barrel. But we just going to say we've got a scenario where, you know, say you're Leo, you're ex-Leo, you get a great deal on some of your old service ammo and its critical duty, and you want to see what it might do in a short barrel, or you say you just got off duty and you're on your way home and what you got's what you got, and it's loaded up with critical duty. So we're going to compare them side by side today and see what we got. Now, we got different weights and all kind of stuff here, but that's just the way it is. For the critical duty, we've got a 45 ACP plus P, and it's a 220 grain flex lock projectile. Ballistics on this is saying 990 feet per second. There's your critical duty, nice nickel plated case with that FTX projectile. And I've never even noticed this before, but there's actually an H for Hornady stamped on the little insert. And then for the critical defense, this is a 185 grain FTX projectile. Now this one here, no nickel plating. These actually used to be nickel plated until Hornady took the opportunity during the whole scamdemic to make an excuse to get rid of nickel plating them, and they never came back. So no nickel plating here, but again, you've got that FTX projectile with the insert. Now the ballistics on that one is saying 1000. That one was gotten from a 3-inch barrel. The 990 for the critical duty was gotten from a 5-inch barrel. So again, I know I'm running this out of a shorter barrel than what they're claiming from, but I just want to set this little scenario up and see what the difference is. So as far as what I'm testing them out of, I'm going to use my Glock 30 Gen 4 that's got roughly the 3.8-inch barrel. So this ought to be a pretty good one. Now, I've got my ideas of what I think we're going to see, but let's get it all set up and find out what happens. All right, let's see what kind of velocity we can squeeze out of this stuff, y'all. I'm going to do a 5-round average starting with the critical defense first. Now, if y'all aren't familiar with my lab radar, like I always explain, you're going to get multiple velocity readings. The large number is at the muzzle, and then you've got 5 across the bottom. The first one is set for 3 yards, which is roughly where the gel is here at 10 feet. And then I've got the other set for 10, 15, 25, and 50 yards. Now, remember, this critical defense is saying 1000 from a 3-inch barrel. This is 3.8 inch, so give me my 1000 is all I got to say. $986, $973, $968, $974, and $971. So seem pretty consistent, but consistently under my 1000, and that's with a 3.8-inch barrel, so you ain't hitting that with no 3-inch. Let's check out the average. All right, so our 5-round average was awful close to the 1000. It was 974 feet per second. The highest one we had was 986, so none of them quite hit that 1000. Now, that's probably within the margin of error as far as atmospheric conditions, and I'm sure under the tightest closed conditions, test barrel, they could probably squeeze 1000 out of a 3-inch, but in real world conditions, this is 3.8 inch, and you see what we got. It just ain't happening. We did have an 18 extreme spread with a 7 standard deviation, so it is nice and consistent. 974, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to judge a lot of times on this critical defense, especially in something like 45 ACP, but maybe it'll do a good job. Let's get it reset and try out that critical duty. All right, let's see what this critical duty does. Now, remember, this is saying 990, but that was from a 5-inch barrel, so I definitely don't expect to see that here. I'm curious to see what we get though. 986, 942, 940, 937, And 925, so I'm gonna tell you right there, this is better ammo than that critical defense in some way or another, because I did not expect that much velocity based on having 990 from a 5-inch. Let's check out the average. All right, so our 5-round average that time from the critical duty was 946 feet per second. We had an extreme spread of 60 with a 23 standard deviation. We had a low of what, 925 and a high of 986. So I'm kind of surprised though to see the velocity up there just based on them saying 990 from a 5-inch. I mean, that's a 3.8, so I expected a little bit less than that. So 946 here, and if you remember on the critical defense, it was 974, so you're only talking about 28 feet per second difference between them. That's not much. I mean, and you've got a 220 in that duty versus a 185 in the critical defense. So we may see some pretty similar performance out of both of these. Now, is that going to be good or bad? I really don't know, but let's get everything set up and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's D&D jelly time. I'm gonna put one of each into the gel, starting with the defense first. I'm really curious about these. I think they're both, I don't want to even say really. I don't know what these things are gonna do. All right, that should have been a nice one right there. Let me go see what I got. All right, y'all, we just about lost that one out the side of the block. I mean, it's poking out the side even, just kind of got to the end and wanted to come out, but it looks really nice down there, that being said. Well, let's see what this duty does. Hopefully, I almost want to put some towels behind it, but I ain't even going to. I might jinx myself if I do. All right, I see a track, but I don't see an ending. Let me go check it out. All right, y'all, let's check this stuff out down here. Really happy with what I'm seeing from both of these rounds. And always nice to end the day of testing with some good performance. And that's what we got here. Both of these really nice performance. On the top here, that was the critical defense. As you can see, it comes in, no doubt, expansion, goes on through this first block. Nice disruption going through here. And I mean, it is poking out the side like I'm literally touching the projectile right there. When it stops, it kind of gets a little rebound, and sometimes it knocks it sideways. I mean, it came dangerously close to coming out. That being said, that looks like some really nice expansion. And then of course down below it, that's the critical duty. Once again, very nice performance. Really nice disruption, energy transfer all the way through this first block. Now of course, being critical duty, it keeps on trucking into this second block. I would say 5 inches maybe into this second block, 4 or 5 inches, and you do have the expansion that you expect to see from critical duty. Obviously it's not that, but pretty much what I always see from critical duty. So looking really nice again from both of them. Now as far as your penetration on the critical defense, you're at exactly 14 1/4, so very nice penetration right there. And then on the critical duty, you're way out here to 21 inches. So big time penetration on that. But again, that's exactly what that's designed to do. And then here's your close-up look. Again, critical defense on the top, duty on the bottom. You can see that everything you're seeing are that stuff behind it smaller. So very nice. Really similar look there as far as the transfer and disruption all the way through here. There you can see the critical defense. I mean, you can tell it's sticking out the side. And we go back down to the critical duty. There you see it. And then your top view here, if you're looking at it from this angle, the one closest to you down here on the bottom would be the critical defense, and then the critical duty on the bottom of the block down there. But again, as you can see, that critical defense, it stopped, like it didn't curve much out, but that little rebound kind of knocks it sideways. And then again on the duty, there you see it. All right, let's check out these projectiles, y'all. More of pretty much what you expect to see. Obviously, this is the critical defense. This is the critical duty. No doubt they behave different. You can see much more expansion on this critical defense. Now, you probably had a little bit more to give, but that would be total nitpicking, because this looks absolutely fantastic for a short barrel 45 ACP. Y'all know both of these look really nice, honestly. It's tough sometimes with a short barrel 45 ACP to get good performance performance, and these both gave us some good performance. So then of course the critical duty here, obviously not near as much expansion. You never do get as much, you're not supposed to get as much. However, that being said, you can tell this is meant to go a little bit faster, because you can see that looks like it had some more expansion to give for sure. Now both of these did still have the inserts, the ends stuck in or attached to them, and just came apart when I pulled them out, so I'm going to include this in the weight. So let's check that out and see what they weigh. I don't think either one of them lost anything. This one here started at 185 and it's at 184.8, so I would say absolutely nothing lost there. This critical duty started at 220 and it's at 219.8, so absolutely nothing lost from either one of these, I would say. And then as far as expansion size on them, we'll do the critical defense first. You got 621 and 627, so that's some fantastic even expansion for a short barrel 45 ACP. And then the critical duty here, you got 508 and 517, so again, not nearly as much, but that's exactly what it's designed to do. So there you go, y'all, the Hornady critical defense versus critical duty in short barrel 45 ACP. Very, very happy with what I'm seeing from these. Again, y'all know it can be tricky to get good performance from a short barrel 45 ACP, and both of these right here definitely turned in a good performance. Now they are obviously tailored for specific purposes. This one much more hard barrier blind without a doubt, this critical duty. So I would say, you know, if you were to run into a hard barrier, obviously you're gonna have some mangled up deformation, probably more expansion. Now in a longer barrel, you're probably going to get a little more expansion, a little less penetration, but in either case, as far as short barrel, I personally would not have a problem running either one of these. All right, y'all, I think some good 45 ACP performance is a perfect way to end the day of testing. Very happily surprised to see both of these do so well out of that short barrel, especially. The critical defense, I'm pretty sure it's done well in the past when I've tested in the 45 ACP, so no real big surprise there. The critical duty, I was a little bit worried. I mean, y'all heard me talk about it. I almost thought about putting towels at the end, but then once I got thinking about it, even when it doesn't expand much, it usually always expands some. So I think we saw both of these rounds do exactly what they were designed to do. Now, I guess one interesting question would be, if you had a choice between either one of these two rounds in a short barrel, what would your preference be? For me, I'm honestly probably taking that critical duty. Y'all know how I am. I'm always concerned about what I might have to go through to get to what I'm trying to get to. So that critical duty to me looks like a winner no matter what you might have to go through. However, that critical defense also did a fantastic job, and I would have no problem carrying that in 45. But let me know down in the comments what y'all think. Any of y'all out there carry either one of these two rounds in 45 ACP? If you do you carry it in a short barrel? What do you think about the performance you saw out here? And if given a choice between these two rounds, which one would you carry specifically in a short barrel? If you enjoyed the video, take a second if you would and hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you've got those notifications turned on so hopefully you get notified when I upload stuff. Take a minute, like I always ask you, and check out the affiliate links in the video description. Anything you get after checking those links out, I get a kickback from them towards the channel, so I really appreciate that. Big thanks again to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for showing support to the channel. Interesting stuff out here today, and I've got some really good ones planned, so stay on the lookout. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.